Hello and welcome to Season 4 of the Sunday Podcast, presented by sportsshoes.com. I'm Ollie Lum.
And I'm Matt Seddon.
This podcast is all about elite distance running in the UK.
We're here to give you all the latest news updates around the sport,
as well as weekly interviews with athletes and coaches.
Stay up to date by following us on Instagram and X at Sunday Podcast.
And make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel too, where we post athlete workout videos, shoe reviews and more.
Thanks for listening, and as always, we hope you enjoy the episode.
Hello guys, welcome back. Matt's away on holiday this week, so no kind of race review updates just yet, but we will bring you a bonus episode next week. As you can see from the title though, Emile Cairess, we spoke to him a couple of weeks ago after kind of obviously his great Olympic performance in that 4th place in Paris, about I guess the race itself and also what's next. You might have heard we said on the pod the other week he's going to be doing National Cross, so he speaks about that as well. So enjoy this episode and we'll catch you with the normal format very soon. Thanks for listening as always. Okay, Emile, firstly, just welcome back, mate. We were just looking, we last spoke to you end of 2022, so before your marathon debut. Since then, obviously 208, 206, 207, and then of course 4th in Paris on that last one. One thing from me, like, could you have asked for about 18 months, you know?
I don't know, to be honest. I think both of the Londons, it could have gone a little bit better, but not much better. It's like kind of as good as like could have been realistically without things being perfect. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think with the Londons, that's what must have been quite fun for you in Paris. Is it was a lot more competitive, right to the wire. I know this year in London, you know, you came through, but both times you're on your own quite a lot. So did you? I guess when you talk about the Londons not being perfect, I mean, when you think about the race, you got a lot out of the race considering how they shaped up in London.
Yeah, exactly. I think both Londons, like, I didn't have a group. It just literally me and the pacemakers, and it's not quite the same as like when you're in a competitive race. Like obviously London is really competitive, but you don't feel like you're in a competition when they're like a mile down the road and you can't see them. So I think in that way I think both times I was a bit fitter than really my time and that showed. But yeah, Paris I was able, because it was like there's people around you, and I was able to get like more out of myself. But I think in London, hopefully in the future, if I go with the front group and that, then I'll get that same kind of experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely, mate. We can't wait to see you kind of getting on that front group, but we'll chat about kind of the future later. And before we get into the race itself in Paris, we wanted to chat to you about preparing for that course, because I think it's something that was quite well documented. Obviously, Matt went out to you train as well. You kind of specifically trained for the course in Paris. Is that right?
Yeah, we did a little bit. Like we did one session that was really specific for Paris, like going up and down this hill. It was like about 3.5K, and then doing a bit on the track and then doing that a few times. So that was really specific, but apart from that, we didn't really do anything that we wouldn't normally do. So we did actually quite a bit of our sessions in hot weather down at sea level that we wouldn't normally do. We'd normally just stay at altitude, so that was specific for championship race. But I wouldn't say the training changed that much versus a normal race.
Yeah, that's funny, because one of the questions I was going to ask is like anything from this block, because you clearly were in incredible shape. I mean, only you will know if you were in better shape pre-London or better shape, pre-Paris. But, you really did deliver. So I wondered if there was anything from this block that you would carry over to future blocks. But it sounds like you said, you didn't change too much, but I didn't realize it was just the one kind of really specific hill session.
Yeah, I think doing the sessions in hot weather, that was the biggest difference. In so maybe like some of the splits, maybe for some of the sessions might be not as impressive as what I would do before London.
Right.
But they were in like 30-degree weather at sea level rather than in really humid rather than doing it in like 5, 6 degree weather at home, which is like perfect for the longer sessions. So it's difficult to like compare them like for like, but the sessions I was doing in altitude were definitely way better than I've done before.
Mm.
Mm. And obviously, with that, you went out and worked closely with Renato throughout the whole thing, whereas normally you're kind of separate from him, you get into your training remotely. How different was that to just be with him day in, day out?
So he would just come for like the workouts, like the main sessions of the week. So maybe up to 3 times a week I'd see him. Yeah, it's just nice to have him there, like, and have him watching, and then he was just preparing the program. Like, usually at home, like, he'll send me it once a week, or maybe at the most once every 2 weeks. But he was making the program like every 2, 3 days. Like, it was all just like, yeah, he'd see how we trained that day, and then he'd set the training till the next session. So it was just very like, um, kind of, he was just setting it off what he saw like we needed exactly. Whereas at home, he might not be able to do that as accurately just off my feedback.
Mm. Mate, that's crazy. I didn't realize that. I wonder pre Paris, what did Renato say to you? Kind of blocks come to an end. Maybe you're in that kind of 5 days before. What were those discussions, man?
Uh, yeah, just saying like he was saying there's no pressure on me. Yeah, there's no pressure on me because it's like my first Olympics, like, and he's saying the next Olympics is the one we're focusing on, so just go and do your best and stuff. And I said, oh, what, like when we was driving back to the airport, I was like, oh, what do you think I can do, like, in the race? And he was just saying like, um, he was like, I don't want to say like, I don't want to, kind of, yeah, put any limits or any pressure kind of thing. And then he said, but then he was like, oh, I just, um, don't like do anything before 30K. So he's just like, just stay in the front group. And I was like, oh, well, if he thinks I can stay in the front group till then, he must be like confident. So yeah. And he was telling me to be more relaxed rather than, yeah, I thought, oh, he must be a bit confident. So that was nice. But yeah, he didn't say anything specific.
Did he share after when you had the
No,
discussion? Did
no.
he? Oh, he did after the race. He didn't say I predicted that. No.
No, he didn't. I don't think he didn't answer anything like that. So I guess he had an idea in his mind, but
Mm,
yeah, it's so difficult, I think, sometimes to, because there's so many variables in a race
mm,
like Paris. Like, yeah, because you see now we was training with Cripper and Zarai and Phil, and we've all had like really different results. And even though a lot of the training was the same, so um, yeah, there's too much variables like that goes into performance.
mm.
Mm. What about you yourself, Emile? Like, was there kind of a point where you, I guess, maybe a week out from the race, are you thinking to yourself, "Oh, I'm going to go chase a medal," or are you just thinking what Renato says and just go to 30K and see what happens? You know?
I'd say like uh, I was getting I was in really good shape. And then we did one session at sea level, like the first one that was really hot. Like the other sessions at sea level, like 20 degrees. And then we did one that was 30 degrees. And then that was like, I got dropped by Kripe and Zarai. So then that kind of affected my confidence quite a bit because I thought if I'm in such good shape, like, and then the heat's affecting me that bad, like, then yeah, then I was really worried. So then after then, kind of I wasn't expecting as much, but we started to do more specific, like in the sauna and more sessions at sea level and runs and stuff. And
Mm.
then my confidence started coming back. And then we came home, and then me and Phil did the last session like 10 days before or something, the main one, and that was in pretty hot weather, like similar to what Paris. And then that went really good. And then after then, uh, my confidence was kind of like, um, because I was always confident in my shape, but confident in whether I could handle the conditions and that. So then after then, I thought I can do something good.
No, you did, man. I mean, just talk about the preparations when you, because I think, did you get into the village really late, maybe 2, 3 days before when I spoke to you? So how
Yeah,
did you
yeah, we
cope with
came
kind of
on
getting back?
Wednesday. yeah, we came on Wednesday and then the race was on Saturday. So yeah. What, what was
And
the
that paid
question?
off. Huh?
Yeah, yeah. Because like we're in the village, you can't really train that well.
Mm.
Like even doing 10K run, you're doing like 3 laps of the village, and it's kind of like a bit. I don't know.
Would you
It's not
not?
like the
That's
best. So
strange. Would you not? I would have thought you'd have access to go somewhere, go to a park or something and run around it.
yeah,
But you
you
have to
can,
stay in
but
the
then you have
village.
to go in a bus and like
Ah,
it might like if you want to do a run for 80 minutes, it might take you 3 hours. You know, like
oh
door
my
to door or
God.
something. I don't know. I never did it,
Yeah.
but like you can't really do that for like a 2 week or something. I think it would like if you double in and you can do it, but I don't think it's kind of optimal. So we were just at home doing our usual routine, like because me and Phil we trained quite a bit, like anyway, uh, in the last like the week before the last week, so we just tried to keep it as normal as possible, and then
Mm.
yeah, we're just the last few days when we taper in, then it's all right to just be in the village and that.
It's funny because listen to a few athletes on the Coffee Club podcast, and they were saying about how the village it's quite difficult. There is high energy. Yeah, it's quite tiring just even kind of going around getting food, that sort of thing. And obviously then you've got the accommodation. There wasn't really a place to like ever chill out. And I was just thinking that you coming into the village on that Wednesday, Olympics is drawing to a close, like there's loads of finals, there's loads of energy. How did you kind of stay relaxed? And would you have rather been somewhere else, like in a hotel on your own, like really, quiet and out the way?
No, I think like 2 3 days is fine, like.
Mm,
And then because I was sharing a room with Phil, and then Mohammed was in our apartment, so
mm,
we were all kind of in similar mindset. Like, um, yeah. Then we weren't really like, don't know, interacting that much with the other people, like loads, because I guess they're doing their own thing. And
mm,
yeah, so um, yeah, it was fine being in the village just for them days. But yeah, I could see I would definitely be draining for a long period. Like, yeah,
mm,
people are buzzing, or you just see people really upset or whatever. Like, yeah, it's just kind of a lot of highs and lows, and you kind of don't need that. You just need to be just normal, like
mm,
relaxed. So just being there for as short as possible was the best.
mm. Yeah, just before we get into kind of the race itself, I just want to ask about some of the training. You mentioned you kind of didn't kind of stray too far from a normal plan, but was there kind of a step up in terms of like the paces or the volume in terms of what you did before London?
Not too much, like, um, yeah, because like before London, I did the first part of the building altitude, and then the second part at home, like the specific bit. Whereas for this, I did it the other way around. So like my specific sessions this time were either in really hot weather or in altitude. So the pace is maybe, yeah, obviously you can't compare that to being at home. Uh, and then the volume and that was kind of similar. Like we didn't really do more than we did for London. Because there wasn't actually that loads and loads of time in between. So I guess it couldn't like change too much, or you have to kind of progress naturally. So I'm hoping the next bit of training to do a bit more volume than that. But um, yeah, I guess maybe the only thing changed we did more. Don't know. Um, maybe did a bit less like continuous long stuff, maybe, and a bit more like um, don't know, intervals maybe
mm,
on the track. Um,
mm,
but yeah, there wasn't really much different from before London, to be honest, because it was only 3 months or something apart. So
mm,
you can't. I don't think, like I said, it has to be natural. It can't just be like night and day.
mm. Yeah. Yeah, and I think what's impressive is you recovered from London pretty quickly. But we'll get into the recovery and stuff. But let's talk about that race and how it unfolded. You mentioned not doing anything before 30K. First time I really saw you was, I think it was up the first gradual hill. Was it sort of like 15 to 20K? There was quite a climb, wasn't it? It was gradual though. And you
Yeah.
just, I think you just drifted wide. And it was like the first time I saw you like on shot, like head on. And I was like, oh, he looks like he's enjoying this hill. Like it looked like the hill, you were breezing up it. Did you feel quite strong at that point? Sometimes you just drift past people naturally without, running your own pace. And you must have started to be quite confident coming up to that halfway marker.
Yeah, I think. in the beginning I felt good, but it was pretty slow. So it's like
Mm,
probably everyone felt good, but then yeah, Renato just said like just don't go to the front, like don't even be at like even don't be at the front or kind of maybe you could be at the front or be at the back, but just
mm,
don't like be one of them people that's always concerned with what's happening, and being stressed, and thinking, oh, is this move the one, and like everything like that, because you'll
mm,
just get tired, like mentally. So I just tried to, I set off at the back and then just kind of, yeah, just made sure I was kind of at the back of the front group. And then at the beginning, obviously, that's like 70 people. And then as that got smaller, then I guess that's how I ended up nearer the front.
mm,
Um, just people was dropping off a little bit, especially as the hill started. And then I feel like, yeah, been doing hills and that since I was really young. So I think, yeah, I always thought that going uphill would be like one of the better parts of my race. So yeah, maybe that's why I was a bit towards the front of that 15, 16K whenever the hill started.
mm.
Yeah, it looked like probably I guess the harder bit for you kind of in the race, obviously you can tell us better, was maybe some of those downhills, or maybe that's just where some people were really excelling. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, definitely. I think both the downhill after 20K, well, what was it? After it was about half, yeah, after
Mm.
halfway, about 21K, and then the downhill after the 30K. They were both like the worst parts of my race. Like I feel like yeah, I was just relaxed in the group. Like when we got to the top of the first hill at 20K, and then sort of without I don't know, without like me realizing, I ended up just being like 70 meters behind the guys at the bottom of it. And then like just off it, and they felt like, well, I wasn't tired, but it was like they were
Mm.
just kind of better at going down the hill. So that was uh, a bit difficult. But obviously, it's going down the hill is just as almost as much part of the course as any of it. So you're gonna have your strengths and your weaknesses, and yeah, that was definitely my weakness. Like yeah, and then down the steep hill, like after 30K, that's when everyone came back past me. So it was tough, but yeah, it's part of it, isn't it? So
Did you work harder up up that absolute beast of a hill, which took you to that kind of 29, 30K mark? Did you purposely work harder up that, knowing that, that previous downhill you weren't very good, you were thinking about maybe gapping a few, or was it just the fact that you were just so good on that hill? I mean, you looked awesome. I messaged Luke at 30K. I said you must have been, an excited man at the top of that hill.
yeah, I did think at the top of the hill, I got like I probably did get excited, but um, yeah, I came back to reality quickly after people started coming back past me. But uh, yeah, I just on going up the hill, I just made like I just thought the other hill, I just ran with everyone else and um just
Mm,
like took it easy in a way. But this one, I thought just let me run at the pace that I want to run at. Because it's like my strong part of the race. So I don't just want to run with them
mm,
and then kind of just just let that go. So yeah, waste the opportunity. So just yeah, try to run like just my race up the hill and then yeah, see what happened. And I think it paid off for me really because
mm,
I think if I ran up the hill uh, with the guys behind, then they would have just run. I wouldn't have run any faster down the hill because I ran faster slower up the hill.
mm,
Because it was more like down the hill, it was more a technique thing rather than a physical thing. So I ran down the hill as fast as I could anyway. So yeah, I think I did the right thing going just my speed up the hill.
mm.
Yeah.
I mean, it was quite a quick 5K split, that hill. I don't know what, obviously the hill was, what, 3K long or something, but it's still pretty impressive. That 5K split. I know you had the downhill off the other side, but it seemed like the race really picked up at that point anyway.
Yeah, I was shocked when I seen the splits after I think I was like 14-12, and then maybe Tull was like 14-02 or something. But then like some of the guys behind ran like 13:50 something. Like I think Benson Kipruto ran maybe like 13:55 or something. So it's like and obviously two of them Ks are just then flat ones after, or
Yeah.
maybe 2.5. So like to run that fast, like I don't know how fast he's gone down the hill, but like even if I think I was fresh and I started with him, I don't think I'd have been able to do that because
Mhm.
there was like I said, a technique thing. So if you're good at that, like yeah, it's good for him to or people like that to take advantage of that and just let their body go rather than resisting and just so. But yeah, I was shocked at how fast the splits were because
Yeah.
like yeah, it's difficult to run down that hill down hills at that fast. Like yeah.
Mm. Yeah, and obviously on the times we ended up with kind of a super fast time for the win and also for yourself as well, considering the course. Is that something you expected? Like knowing the course, knowing the elevation, did you think the whole race would go that quick?
No, I was really shocked. Like we got to halfway and it was like 64:55. And then I was thinking, oh, that sounds about right. Like probably if everyone just then maybe the winner might run like I don't know, maybe just under 209 or something for the second half.
Mm.
And then maybe if you want to get a medal, you need to just keep the second half the same. Because the group was only about I don't know 15 people by that point.
Mm.
But then maybe the course was it was just maybe it was actually more runnable than what people thought. Like um yeah, and then because I think I got to maybe 35K, and then I was calculating, I was like, oh, I don't even need to. I was like, it's gonna actually be a fast time, and
Mm.
like yeah, I was really surprised, really surprised.
Mate, I think I was the same. I was watching it. I was like, God, you're going to run a PB here. If you, I was trying to calculate what you need to do your last 2K in or something, and I was like, if you rallied, you would be close to a PB.
No, I think
Um,
it because I ran the actual last 2K like uh 6:34, which is like well 2.2K because it
yeah.
so that's like I ran under 3 minute Ks for that, and then I was like 15:19 I think for 35 till 40. So um yeah, I think yeah to run a PB in that I'd had to start running I don't know like 250, 255, 256 or something
Mm.
from like 35K, which I wasn't able to do that, but
But I want to know a little bit about that last 2 or 3K because we didn't get to see it on the footage. I don't know if have you watched your race back, by the way? Have you sat through the whole 2 hours?
no, I haven't like I skipped I skipped through it and then
Yeah.
like watched it going up the hill and
Mm.
then yeah, and then I watched like just the last bit when we was coming in. That's the best what I've seen.
Mm. Yeah, because they obviously cameras are focusing on the front three at that point, and it's just the people splintering off that group and chasing. But there must have been a 2K section there from 40 to 42K or something where you were catching guys. What's going through your head? What was the crowd like as well? Because I thought the crowd was exceptional the whole way around. I don't know if that echoes to you.
Yeah, the crowd was like mental, like I think, but then I was saying it was like so much crowd that it just ended up being white noise, like because it was
Yeah.
like the whole wave was just packed. So it was like after a while you start realizing it. I'd say up the hill, like that was like a different level, and it was actually like that was even louder and stuff. And
Mm.
but the rest of the way was pretty just yeah, there's loads of people. So um yeah, it ended up just being white noise, like I said. But then the last 2.2K, I was just trying to think like well, even the last 8K probably since I was off the group because I came off the bottom of the hill. I was just off the group,
Mm.
which was like it was tough really because I wasn't far off them, but like I couldn't catch them. But then if I'd been with them, then I could have stayed. Like it's been much easier to stay with them.
Yeah.
Um, so that was a bit difficult, just being a bit detached. And then, so the whole time since then, I was just thinking, oh, just keep engaged and give yourself a chance. Like if anything happens, because you don't want to just like give up and then realize, oh, if I just kind of stayed in it, then I could have done something. And then, so I was just saying, I'll give yourself a chance. And then I was kind of maintaining. And then, um, yeah, I went past a couple of people, like maybe 30, 32 to 35. And then Didn't really go past it. It was just I was just watching the Japanese guy from 35 till 40, and then there was the four guys up ahead in a group together. And then I was thinking, oh, maybe I can catch a Japanese guy and then just see what happens to them guys up front. And then I think maybe 40K, I seen the Ethiopian guy like drop off, and I thought, oh, he's like dropped off pretty fast. So I was like,
Mhm.
then I was quite confident that I'd catch him because usually when people drop like that, they just knackered. Like he just like slowed down a lot. And then I thought it would still be difficult to catch the Japanese guy though. And then maybe 800 meters to go, like I just started to just thought I'll just try my best and just give it everything. And then ended up catching, yeah, and then just caught them both before like maybe 100 meters before the last corner. And then yeah, the Japanese guy like didn't respond, and the Ethiopian guy did a bit, but I think they were both pretty tired. So it's more like me just maintaining really rather,
Mm.
and them just kind of faltering the last bit. And I don't know if the Ethiopian guy as well, like, is he anyone going to get a medal? And he probably just did give up a bit, like mentally.
Mm.
So yeah, but that's like part of it, isn't it? So
I think on a medal, looking back on the race, what were you, 30 seconds off a medal? I think something like that.
yeah, I think yeah, just under. I think 29. Yeah.
Do you think there could have been a way that, is there any scenario where you could have medaled?
Uh, Probably not. Like I think, like I said, if I was just on the group when it came off the bottom of the hill,
Mm.
then I could have had a chance just to stay on the group. But then equally, I could have been on the group, and I think Bashir ran like 14:40. They ran 14:42 or something like that for that split. So it was like, maybe I could have done that, but then I might have absolutely popped and then
Mm.
just been like swaying side to side the last couple of K. So um,
Mm.
I don't think there was really a chance to get a medal, but I think that's the only thing that could have gone a bit better for me is like being on the group and then yeah. But I don't think I just wasn't fit enough. I don't think to get a medal because them guys like think they're just better than me to be honest.
You must be encouraged though. Like, what are they, 2-2 and 2-3 men?
Yeah, yeah, obviously. But then I was saying like me and Phil was talking. It's like it is different to run maybe a performance that's like equivalent to them kind of times on that course than actually going and doing them times.
Mm.
Um, because like yeah, it's not the same as like yeah, actually going and running a 203 or 204 or whatever. So even though it's good performance, like it's still different from going and doing it. So
You think
yeah,
that's harder? You think actually going, executing that time is more
yeah, I
difficult?
think that is like I don't know if it's harder because, but it's definitely a different skill if that makes
Okay.
sense.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
like it's like in cross country, if people are really good in the mud,
Mm.
then they can get up with people that can run faster than them on a on a dry course. But it doesn't mean just because they beat them on a muddy course and they can go beat them on the dry course. So I think it's a bit the same like that. Um, so until you have run 203 or 204 or 202 or whatever, then you can't say like, yeah, is because you're running it like instead of running it 3 minute Ks or 301s or whatever, you're running it 2:55. It's like it's way big difference. So yeah.
Mhm.
Mm. Were you able to enjoy that race at all? Like obviously for us watching a super hilly course is really exciting. Loads of things happen. There's kind of different matchups, but the track guys they talk about kind of stepping on the track at the Olympics. They talk about the buzz and I guess enjoying their way around. In the marathon, is that possible with kind of how hard and tough that race was?
Yeah, I think maybe more so in the marathon because
Mm.
you've got more time. Like the first 80 minutes or whatever isn't that's not really where the difficulty or challenge of the race is how long it is. So the beginning's not really that hard and you can kind of just uh yeah, enjoy it a little bit. And I tried to that was kind of my whole thing was just to enjoy the Olympics and stuff like and I think I try to do that for all my races now to be honest, because when I put a lot of pressure on myself to go do something really good, like I end up just doing crap. So just try and enjoy it and think it helps. Like, I think Alex he was saying on something I can't remember what it was, but he said like a lot of people try to be going to races like being really aggressive and like smash it and that, and he just says like he just tries to like relax and be kind of in the flow state and that. And because it's kind of similar, I think that kind of helps me as well, just being more relaxed and enjoying stuff rather than thinking, yeah, about aggression and trying to smash it out of the park.
Yeah, you definitely can't have too much aggression when it comes to a marathon. But I think was it quite surreal? I mean, you're used to it now, man. You've been on the circuit a few times. You've been to London and stuff. But I think racing against Kipchoge and Bekele and those greats and just be. Did you get to talk to them after, catch up, or were they, disappointed and off they went? And
No, 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 I wouldn't try and talk to them and bother them and that. I'm sure they got a lot of people like that always bothering them and chatting to them and that. And
Mm,
yeah, it's really cool to like, especially Bekele. I'm a big fan of Bekele. Like,
mm,
he was sat opposite me in the call room, and it's just like, yeah, it's really cool to see him and that. And I've been there when I was pacemaking for London. He was in the group, so that was a really like that was like kind of big achievement for me. Like, to be able to do that. So, but then as well, like I think I'm there to race. Like, I'm not there
yeah.
for when I'm turning to going into like, yeah, maybe pacemaking is different, but if I'm going to the marathon, then I'm going to do my best. I'm not going to like look at how good all these people are, if that makes
Mm.
sense.
I think that's what you've
Yeah.
done so well, though, and like you really have been fearless and just stepped up to the plate and ran to your level. There's been. I think in this day and age, it would be quite easy to sort of be starstruck, but that's where your mentality's at. You're not completely in, you're just taking what's yours.
Yeah, I think well, going to Kenya makes a big difference with mentality because I think a lot of maybe not as much anymore since Jakob and stuff like that. Because he
Right.
just like what I guess people watching him destroy it, everyone just like gives people more confidence that they can compete with Kenyans and stuff and Ethiopians. But for me, I think personally, going to Kenya and running with really good Kenyan guys, like think, oh, actually, like I can do really well with them, and yeah, and it's not like they're not, yeah, obviously they're really talented and really work hard, but if you work hard like them, then you can do the same as them. So I think that's been good for me to go to Kenya and change my mentality, or just make me, yeah, just not scared to race anybody.
Mm.
Mm. Yeah, obviously post Olympics now, obviously fourth place. I'm sure you're super happy with that, but how do you kind of get to the next level? How do you make sure you're on that podium come LA?
I think it's just like it's a long process, like
Mm.
just training, training hard, training a bit more than before, and just being consistent with everything, and just having my main focus for each day is to be a better runner than the day before, kind of thing, and just do that for like the next 4 years. Because it's like I didn't kind of get to these results overnight. Like, yeah, you just go step by step, and yeah, you just have to take the next step. Like, not look at because even though I come fourth, I say I want to win in LA. I'm probably right now. I'm probably closer to being 20th in the world than I am to being first, or maybe even 30th or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, um, so there's still like a lot of steps to go. Yeah. So I just have to look for improving in all the distances and just getting better. And like I was saying to one of my friends, like, uh, Petros, like until like you can run 57 and 201 and 202 or stuff, you still got a long way to go. Like, you can't come fourth, however, in the Olympics and think you're almost there. Like, there's a really
Mm.
long way to go. Like, yeah, and maybe Kenya might have had three people that day that could have beat me. You know what I mean? And it's same with Ethiopia. Like, maybe if Lemon had run and just been a bit injured and then dropped out,
Mm.
then but then they just put Tola in and he won. So yeah, I think Olympics in the marathon can be a bit deceptive about where you are really in the world. So
I think that's a fair point. But when it comes to Olympic Games, LA, yeah, everyone starts talking about it now, but it must feel, I mean, to me, it just feels like such a long way off. And I think in running terms as well, like, I mean, you probably know more than anyone. So much can happen in 4 years. I mean, look at where you were 4 years ago. Like it's crazy. You can progress so much, but you can also kind of regress as well if you get injured and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I think anyone that like rests on their laurels in athletics, like, you'll get found out like really quick because, uh, yeah, it's endure like, well, it's a individual sport, so yeah, it's not like football where if you're off like 5%, like you can just kind of get through it. Like,
Mm.
if you're off a little bit, then people will notice, and same, well, I think your times will be like terrible. So
Yeah.
yeah, you have to always be just really focused and really try and improve and be better, and not think like, um, yeah. I remember Steve Lisgo, steeplechaser. They went to the Commonwealths, and I think he ran like 8:36 or something, and then he was saying his mistake was like his goal was to get to the Olympics, and then he said to himself, like, all I need to do is like get 4 seconds off in 4 years or something to make the
Mm.
next Olympics or something like that. Something like that anyway. And
Mm.
then and he said that mentality like really held him back. Like he should have been trying to get like 4 seconds off in the next 8 months. Maybe you don't do that, but it's like, yeah, if you just kind of think it's gonna come to you easy, or like, oh, I've got time, like to uh, yeah, to like, oh, I'll just get better in a bit, or
Mm.
yeah, then you're not
Yeah.
gonna get there.
I think as well, yeah, resting on your laurels. I think downplaying what you got to do as well, and I think that's something that you don't do, and it's probably one of the reasons why you're so successful. I mean, what is your? I'm interested, man. You've had a tough, since April to now, 4 or 5 months. That's been a tough go of it. How's the rest of the year shaping up? What does your recovery as well look like off the back of marathons? Because I don't think we've asked you that before. Like, what is that recovery process? You take 4 weeks completely off from running? You 2 weeks off? What's the score?
Uh, so the first London I had like 3 days off, and then the next London I had a week off, and now I've had like 15 days off. I started running again on Monday. Um, so I just like whatever Renato tells me, to be honest. If he just says
Yeah.
like, if he says, "Oh, you're back running in 3 days," I'll go back running now. If he says, "Oh, you have 2 weeks off," I'll take 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So I just follow what he says. And I think it changes. Like he looks at it depending on like your build up and stuff. Like I think he felt like the first build up in of London wasn't like a full build up, so I didn't really need like a full recovery. Whereas this one was more like I'd done a good build up for the first London, first for the second London, just took a week off, and then done another good build up, like consistent and that. So I think maybe it felt like the mental stuff around the Olympics as well. Maybe I needed more time off.
Mm.
Yeah, good stuff, man. What did you do in your 15 days?
I was pretty like so I moved house and that. So um, yeah, we've just been sorting out that, me and my girlfriend, just doing jobs and that. But then we was gonna go to Lanzarote. Um, so I thought I booked it for the 20th, but then the night before, like I went to check in and it said, "Oh, your holiday's in 11 days." So going on the 30th, going tomorrow instead.
Oh my days, only you, man.
Yeah, so that
Um,
was a bit annoying because now I've got to like train on holiday, and the whole point was like just chill out and not train. But
yeah.
yeah, that's my fault, innit? Should have checked
But
more careful.
I guess wait, Lanzarote is not a bad place to go. I think you could train out there, can you? There's a
Yeah,
few.
yeah, I think there's a gym
Yeah,
and stuff like with
yeah,
treadmill, and then yeah, I think there's a good like there's a long like thing you can train alongside the sea. So yeah, it'll be
right.
fine. It's
You'll
just
be
like you want to just chill on holiday, don't you? But yeah, it's not a big deal.
no. I know. I was gonna say, how's the body feeling? Like, I'm intrigued. 15 days after where you don't do any running at all. What are those first few runs back? Are you fresh? Like, still feel fit as a fiddle?
Uh, I feel like just my muscles and my legs have been really hurting since being back running. So I think it's not like it's not connected with the marathon. It's more just like yeah, just having 15 days off.
Mm.
Um, I think that's like yeah, I don't know, my legs have just got so stiff and achy, and then yeah, so I'm just like going through that at the moment. All the runs are like really painful. Just yeah, really bad DOMs, but yeah, I'm just going easy running, like pretty slow in the woods and that. So
Mm,
yeah, it's not bad.
mm.
Does Renato ease you back in? Like, what's the sort of mileage first week back?
Uh, he told me just do whatever I want like this week, and then he's gonna start the program from the on September the 2nd. But don't know, I'll probably be over 100 mile this week. So yeah, because if I don't do good mileage, then like it's gonna be a shock to me next week. So I
Yeah,
need to make sure I'm ready.
yeah. Would you just say that's just like you're at a level now where that really is just such a routine? Like, you talk about DOMs a little bit, but that's very doable for you.
Yeah, I think yeah, you can do as much volume as you like, really. Like,
Mm,
it's more when you start adding intensity and the volume of the intensity, that's like difficult, like where you can get fatigued and stuff. I don't think it's difficult to run big mileage like without really high intensity.
mm,
Um, so yeah, like 100 miles a week is pretty easy to make if you just go running twice a day every day, pretty much, and then just run a bit longer,
mm,
maybe on a couple of days or something like. Even with jogging, yeah, I think it's difficult if you, and then I don't really run less than like an hour or whatever in the morning. So,
mm,
and normally maybe 80 or 90 minutes. So, yeah, you just get used to running all the time. So it doesn't feel like much.
Yeah, I hope you got some nice roots in the new house, man, or near the
Yeah,
new
yeah,
house.
it's almost the same. It's basically the same place as before.
Down the road, is it?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like 600 meters away. So it's the same routes as before. So I won't move anywhere that didn't have good routes and that.
No, this is it. It's what you got to think about when you're a pro, haven't you? Like, where's the running? I got to stay close to that, basically. But what's the I guess goals going forward? Where's this next build heading? I mean, is that a secret at the moment?
Uh, no, I don't think, like, um, I've I've got it planned like the next year. Like Renato sent me a plan like of everything, and like the races and the training and stuff. So I think the next like serious race will be like Valencia half.
Hmm.
Um, so that's not in that long. So um,
Is that
I think
January? Yeah, January.
no, it's
Oh,
October.
it's October, isn't it? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I need to make sure that like I don't think there's enough time to be in like top shape before then, but I think there's enough time to be in like almost
Mm.
like really good shape, but maybe not like perfect like you would have maybe going to a marathon. But yeah, I think I can be in good shape, and just that's kind of the first benchmark of the year.
Mm.
Mm.
Nice, man.
Will we see you on the cross anytime soon, or is that all done?
Uh, yeah, I might be making an appearance at National Cross in a couple of weeks.
Whoa,
Um,
mate, this is big. I've heard Mark Scott might be as well.
yeah, he messaged me, and then yeah, he was like, I don't know. He didn't say if he was doing it or wasn't doing it.
You're right.
He said, "Oh, I seen you on the entries and that." And then I was like, "Oh, that's strange. Why is he looking on the entries?" But I don't know if
Of
Mark's doing it. Then he's in. I think because he's been training for a while now, hasn't he? So
course.
he's
Yeah.
going to be like in. I think he's tagging some good races and stuff. So he'll probably be in close to top shape. Whereas, yeah, by like I was saying, Valencia half, I can be in good shape, but
Mm.
National Cross, I don't think I have time for even good shape.
National
Uh,
Cross just flying under the radar. I think I have it on good authority. Mark's going to race. I guess the only thing he's doing Great North Run, or I saw it. So whether he comes off of that well, or if he comes off of it bad, he might pass. But this could be a duel for the ages.
I
All
don't
we
know.
need
Like
now is
I
Alex
just said,
Yee.
well, yeah, Alex, you might do it. Man, I might have to pull out. No, I think well,
Uh,
I just like I do want to do it. I just need to like as long as I've done maybe one or two sessions, then I'll
mm,
just give it a go. I think, and just a bit of fun, really. Like, and it's like it gives me kind of a little like uh, a little bit extra motivation just these first couple of weeks back. So,
mm,
but yeah, don't be expecting anything big. Like, yeah, Mark's been training for since London now, so
Yep.
yeah, he should be going well.
There you go, Mark. Pressure's on you.
Yeah. Pressure's on him, but right, I think rightly so though. If I took 2 week off, 2 week of training or whatever, maybe
Yeah.
3 week in it. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Absolutely, mate. Well, thanks for giving us that inside scoop, and obviously wishing you all the best for the future, mate. But thanks for chatting to us as always.
oh no, cheers, thank you very much.